Listen to me, if your ads are out of KPI right now, I'm going to say something that you may not agree with, but you need to hear. Stop media buying and your ads will go into KPI. So what do I mean by that? But more importantly, who the hell am I to say that to you? Look, my name is Hamza. I've spent millions on Facebook. I've worked with all these people that you see over here that are doing crazy numbers, all because I've implemented something called the infinite ad loop into their businesses. And a big part of this has nothing to do with media buying. Even though I'm spending millions on Facebook, nothing to do with media buying. Even though I'm putting spend and creating campaigns and ad sets or whatever in Facebook Meta, doesn't have anything to do with it. It actually has everything to do with this word that starts with a C and ends with an S. I'm going to get into exactly what this word is, but I want you to understand one thing. I want you to really get this. Look, if you are focusing heavily on your metrics like your CTR, or maybe you're focusing on your CPMs, maybe you're focusing on your cost per clicks, maybe you're focusing on a bunch of other metrics like your unique outbound click-through rate. Maybe you're focusing on CBO versus ABO. Maybe you're worried about what you want to target. Do you want to target broad, or some people call it open, or do you want to do interests? Do you want to do lookalikes? This is what I mean by people are focusing really heavily on the media buying part of it. But the truth is that ultimately, once you've actually cracked your audience, and honestly, whether it's CBO or ABO, you know what really matters? Truly, to make sure that your ad account continuously gets leads at a good cost per lead, continues to get good calls for you at a good cost per appointment, and ultimately gets you more sales. I swear to you, when your ads start going out of KPI, it's got very little to do with all of this. It's only really 1 times out of 10 that it's ever this. And as I've shown you, I've worked with the best of the best. And so I have seen an ungodly amount of ad accounts. I've seen a tremendous number of people that come to me, consult me one-on-one. I do group coaching as well over here with my buddies from badmarketing and adspend.com. And what I want to tell you, more often than not, which is the thing that people are not focusing on, you know what it is? I just want to create a bit of suspense. It's your creatives. Let that sink in. It's your creative. So what the heck do I mean by that? Okay? Don't mind my son in the background just banging away if you can hear that. There's going to be specifically the image or the video asset that you're running ads to. That's the most important thing. And in there, it's going to be your first really 3 to 10 seconds visually and verbally. Some people call this the hook. I don't. It's more so the opener of your video. The hook can oftentimes be even, 10 to 90 seconds long, even more. This whole idea of having a set number of seconds for a hook, I don't believe in it. A hook is however long it takes for you to capture the attention that you need to draw out the pain, the desire, the current state that they're in before you start presenting your promise and your offer. That to me is the hook, okay? And really introducing who you are, etc. Okay, that's the first element. Okay, the second element that's important in your creative is going to be specifically your headline, right? And then thirdly, it's going to be the actual first 2 lines of your primary text, all right, which is really the opener of your copy, and then it goes that way. So just to put this maybe a little bit differently over here, we want to see this as a funnel. And so where eyeballs go and where attention goes immediately is going to be on element number 1, okay? Then it's going to be element number 2. Then it's going to be element number 3. And then even further down, you get into essentially, your landing page, etc., etc. But this is not what we're going to be covering on this video, at least. So what I want to explain to you over here is that you've had some ads that have done well. You've had some ads that have performed. And what ended up happening is they went out of KPI. So now you're trying to squeeze more. And so oftentimes, again, what's ended up happening is that you're trying to focus on these things, and the best known trick or tactic that I see media buyers use is to just duplicate. Just duplicate forever. Try different budgets. And it's like, dude, just make better creative. So I'm going to explain to you how you can do that, right? So really, the main thing that you want to see is who are your winners, right? First, ask yourself that question. Ideally, you have 2 to 5 of these. And what you can do now, whether they're images or videos, you can start changing elements over here of the actual ad. You can start changing the banner of the ad. You can start changing the color of the ad. You can start changing the spokesperson of the ad. You can start changing the B-roll or imagery, right? When I say banner, I'm talking about the headline that you're using in the ad, right? So imagine you have a video ad over here and you have a talking head. It's whatever's written up over here, like attention med spa owners or attention doctors or attention coaches and consultants or, you know, single moms that are looking to find their husband. I don't know, like whatever you're advertising, right? This over here, the visuals that you have in your first 3 to 10 seconds, this is going to be absolutely the biggest bang for your buck over here. Okay, this is going to be the biggest bang for your freaking buck over here. Change that, but here's the key. Don't make such massive variations, because if you look at your budget, you still want to spend about 80% of your budget over here on winners. When you're making variations, you want about 20% of your budget to go to variations of what's already working. Now, let's say, for example, your winners have all gone out of KPI. Okay, fine. Then put about 80% of your budget towards this stuff over here, and then a further 20% of your budget on what I would call wild swings, right? These wild swings are bigger variations, right? You're not just making banner changes, color changes, you're already changing the entire concept of the idea. And the mistake that a lot of people make is that when they have something that fatigues, right, what they end up doing is they try to like overhaul the whole thing. They, in many ways, right, you've heard that saying, right? So you have the bath water and then you have the baby in it and it's crying, it's not doing well, it's fatigued. It's like, all right, let's throw everything into the trash. It's like, no, don't throw the baby out with the bath water. The ad, fine, right now is fatigued, but the concept still has legs, right? This was your original concept. So make these changes to it. Don't just throw the whole thing out. And so if you want more consistency in your ad account, yes, there's something to be said about having, you know, an eye on some of these things and budgets and CBOs and all. Like, it matters. Don't get me wrong, it matters. But at the same time, have a good strategy, meaning spend 80% of your money on winners. Don't be like some people test like crazy and they're putting like half their money on testing. And it's like, that's not wise. That's really not wise. What you want to be doing is put 80% towards winners. Fine, your winners went out of KPI. Put 80% of that budget towards slight variations of those winners so you can kind of like revive them, bring them back to life. And then 20% of your budget, okay, whether it's going towards these or these over here, you want to make sure that 20% is going towards the test and 80% is going towards what's proven. Okay? That's very, very important as a rule. And that's what's allowed me to keep my ad account stable. I'm talking about spending 10,000 plus per day. All right? There's been periods of time where we were spending closer to $100,000 per day. Okay? That's going to probably be for a different video. There are some additional things to take into account because day by day there's so much data coming in that you can make some pretty rapid changes. And in all these cases, the thing that remains the same though is that you want to make sure you have a big variety of creatives. Okay? You want to have variations of winners. If you're sitting over here and you're like, man, I don't even know what kind of creatives to make, fine, I'll give you something else over here. Okay? Testimonials, or what I like to call testies, will always be great. People will always want to see other people that look, sound, talk like them, saying good things about your product or service. Okay? And then you always want to have some like promise ads in both image and video, right? So what this means is like you have essentially in your ad, you would have sort of an H1, which is your big headline, which is making the promise. And then in H3 format, you'll like smaller than the headline, you'll have your bullet points. You may even have like a little H2 subheadline but this is optional. And then you'll probably have some person or some sort of an image over here. Like, this is the best way to make image ads. If you have an image ad that doesn't contain the promise, like meaning it has your offer in it, it has the benefits of what you do, maybe even who it's for. Like, this is where I'd put the H2. It's like identity call out. Then that image ad is what you would call very indirect. And it's not going to be very clear to someone that's seeing it that it's actually for them. And you may actually end up getting a bunch of people outside of your niche, outside of who you're actually trying to target, seeing this sort of stuff, right? Another type of creative that you definitely want to have is just a straight up like spokesperson, right? This is where you or some person that you hire, or even an AI avatar. I love using AI avatars. I'll probably make a video on this in the future. If you want to see a video on that, freaking drop a comment. But you could use an AI avatar, not necessarily of yourself, but you could use someone else. There's a lot of cool tools out there for this that I've been using lately that aren't Veo, right? Veo is a bit advanced, and my editor has cracked that, and we're creating some insane ads right now that are getting such a good cost per lead and a good CPA. But alas, spokesperson is really good. Even just like B-roll plus voiceover is really good. And then, always you'd have like your UGC, user generated content. I think like a show not tell is always going to be cool, where there's some sort of a demonstration, right? So if you're a coach or a agency that gets people more booked calls, show them calendars, show them people on sales calls, show them people that are just so busy now because they use your service. If it's a chiropractor, show the chiropractic office, show them what they're going to be getting, not just telling them, right? You always want to focus on demonstrating things, okay? So I really encourage you to, once again, focus on creatives. Don't get swept up by the whole world of like tactics and strategies and just trying to frickin', media buy your way to success. That may work on smaller budgets, duping and stuff, but long term, doesn't work at all. And if you're interested, you can always join my school community. The link is in the description over here. And you can always drop in over here and ask some questions, as some of the other members are. And I will oftentimes personally respond to it with a Loom video. We have a classroom over here with a bunch of trainings that I've personally created on, media buying and my whole methodology, the infinite ad loop. So yeah, if this was enjoyable for you and you want to learn more and connect with me one-on-one, then go ahead and join the community. And if not, that's fine too. Keep watching these videos.